Welcome to Figma Bites, the video series that aims to teach you to speed up your Figma workflow. On our menu today is an intro to variables, an appetizer if you will. Trying to teach you everything about variables in one video would be way too much to eat. So today we'll be focusing on what variables are, how to create them, and how to apply them. Future videos will cover more. Here we have a website for Zoodash that we used in our prototype tokens bite. Most people love the white and red branding, but for others, it can be hard to read. It's common to see dark mode available on many sites and apps. To mock that up without variables, we would copy the frame and start changing styles around or changing properties to swap in dark mode versions of our components. Because we have variables set up on this mock, we just paste a copy of our mock into a dark mode frame and everything changes for us. Whoa, what? You saw that right. Let's see how this works. To access variables, make sure nothing is selected in your file. Over in the design panel on the right, find the section that says Local Variables and click the settings icon. This will open our Variables Manager dialog. If you don't see this sidebar, click the toggle sidebar icon. In the sidebar, we have our current variables collection, Collection 1. We can add multiple collections, but we'll be sticking to one for this video. Click on the More Options icon and select Rename Collection. Let's name it Zoodash Variables. Now we can define all of our color variables. Next, click the Create Variable button to create our first one. We'll focus on color for this video, but you can also set variables for numbers, text strings, and layer visibility. Click Color. We'll see a table appear with headings for the name and value of our variables, and our first row. Double-click on the word Color and change it to Brand-Primary. Change the value to DF4255, which is our red color. As you can see, variables at their simplest form are just a way for us to give names to values so they have more context and are easier to reference. I jumped ahead and made all the variables needed for our brand. Pause the video and create them yourself if you're following along. I don't want you to get too far behind. Now we'll start applying our variables so we can take advantage of them in our mocks. Select the main navigation, go over to the design panel and click the little 4-dot icon in the Fill section. This will open our Style menu, which lists our variables. Choose Brand Primary. Notice that the hex value changes to a little pill tag. This is how Figma represents variables in the UI. Let's finish the rest of these. Instead of directly selecting each element, we can use selection colors to change all instances of that color at once. Select our outer frame and move over to the Selection Color section on the right. Next to the black hex value, click the Style menu icon and choose Brand Dark. Now we'll quickly go through and do that for the rest of the colors that aren't variables. And just like that, our entire mock is using variables. Now if we want to update our brand color, we can do that from the Variables dialog, and it will update everywhere in the file. Okay, but what about the dark mode magic from the beginning? Variables can have modes. This means that you can set context for variables, and you can do it on the frame or page level. Click anywhere on the canvas to make sure nothing is selected. Next, open the Local Variables dialog like we did before. Notice the plus icon off on the right of our table. Click that to create a new mode. Our table headings change to Name, Mode 1, and Mode 2. Double-click on the header for Mode 1 and rename it to Light. For Mode 2, rename it to Dark. Next, we need to update our dark mode values. We want our red to be a little darker and our darks and lights to flip-flop. I changed our red. Now I'm going to skip ahead and change the others. There we go. Let's close our variables menu. Next, select the outer frame of our mock and move over to the Layers section of the design panel. Next to the Layers title, you see a hexagon icon. Click it and you'll notice we have our theme set to Auto, which defaults to our first mode, Light. Let's explicitly set this one to Light by selecting Light from the menu. Now duplicate this mock by pressing Command D. With the copy selected, go over to the Layers section and a new dropdown has appeared because we explicitly set the mode. When the mode is set to Auto, this dropdown won't appear. Click the dropdown and select Dark. A masterpiece. Finally, before we sign off, I want to give you a quick preview of what the other variable types are. With string variables, we can do things like text localization, where our frames can have context for other languages, and many other use cases. Number variables let us store common values that we use for spacing, type size, etc. This really comes in handy for design systems, but outside of that, I like to use it for common spacing in my file or title sizes on my canvas. Lastly, boolean variables. These let us control layer visibility and true or false properties. What I wanted to show you about this is how to apply them, because it's a little different than the others. To apply a boolean variable, right-click on the eyeball icon in the Layers section. Then you can make your selection. Although variables is in open beta, so any of this could change. Well, that's how to use variables in Figma. I hope this Figma Bite helps you vibe with variables. Thanks for watching.